This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, welcome to the go-to meeting for the point-in-time count and the housing inventory count updates for DV providers. Okay, so the point-in-time count is coming up. It has to be completed over one night in the last 10 days of January. The Continuum of Care, or the COC, designates the night of the point-in-time count. And so this year, the COC has selected January 23rd, starting at 4 p.m. through January 24th, ending at 3:59 p.m. And this also allows us additional time during the end of the month because the point-in-time count is done in the last 10 days. And so if we could do it early enough by doing it on the 23rd, then we have some time in case we encounter anyone else that we know was experiencing homelessness on the night of the 23rd. We can go ahead and gather their information as well. So this is just a quick view of our regional map at the moment. And so we do cover 44 counties. And so you all can take note of which region you fall into. Once we have all the point-in-time count information from the night of the 23rd, we'll be able to get that information out pretty quickly and per county and also per region. So that will be really helpful. And so the point-in-time count offers an accurate count and an accurate count of the point in time, I would say, offers several benefits. So it monitors trends of homelessness. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a little typo. In our local area. It also supports local efforts by identifying unmet needs and characteristics of those who are experiencing homelessness. It also identifies areas where development of new programs, services, or redistribution of programs or services is needed. It raises a community awareness of homelessness and also raises political awareness of homelessness. And so the point-in-time count is a HUD requirement. It provides support for planning efforts by identifying local unmet needs and trends. The point-in-time also allows us to raise awareness, and resources can be more efficiently allocated, and appropriate preventative interventions can be targeted. Statewide goals toward ending homelessness can be better established, and with the data, we can better measure balance of state and statewide progress toward these goals. So the HUD released the CPD notice recently, and this is the HIC and PIT data collection notice for all COC and ESG programs. And so this informs the COC of what must be collected to report successfully on the point in time and the housing inventory count. So the housing inventory count is the annual report to HUD done at the same time as the point in time, and it provides information about a community's capacity to house people who are homeless. And so one of the new changes with the HIC this year is pertaining to victim service providers is that although you're exempt from providing your address information, HUD does encourage providers to please enter a zip code at least, so we can have that zip code associated with the project. And so the bed inventory is the total number of beds available for occupancy on the night of the count for the following household types. So this would be households without children, households with at least one adult and one child. And these, the bed inventory count is needed regardless whether the project participates in HMIS or not, regardless whether the project receives HUD funding, and regardless of whether the bed was occupied, but we just need a count of what beds were available. And so each project recorded in the HIC must also provide a point-in-time count, and the number should be unduplicated number of persons served on the night of the count in the beds reported for the project. And the total number of persons reported in all emergency shelter, transitional housing, and safe haven projects on the HIC must match the total number of sheltered persons reported in the point in time. And so the VAWA Act has restrictions against hosting victim information as a protective safeguard. And so in order to adhere to this requirement and still support accurate and efficient data collections and reporting, this year we're going to be using an Excel-based tool that has been developed by Simtech Solutions. And so I'm going to go through that with you now. And so this is a quick glimpse of what the point-in-time tool for domestic violence providers looks like. So it's an Excel spreadsheet. So this will be the first tab that you see. And so it has step 1, step 2, and step 3. And so you'll enter in your organization name and project type. And also it has some housing inventory information there on the front. And then you'll see a couple of different tabs there: enter clients, create PDF, or export results. And then the next tab on the spreadsheet itself is where we do data entry. So this is the actual individual information that will be collected. Because as we just went over, we have to have the housing inventory information and also the point in time count. And the point in time count information needs to be collected for every person being served in your shelter on the night of the point in time. So this is where you will collect all that information. Now I want you to understand that the information, the personal identifying information, is not going to be exported out. So I want to help you all understand that, so you're not worried about names being released. But this is the spreadsheet tab where you would collect everything. And then once you're done, and I apologize for this being a little blurry, once you're done, you will create a PDF, and all it will export out is the breakdown of the gender, the children, race, ethnicity, things like that. So no names are going to be released at all. But it's going to be a really simple tool for you all to use to be able to collect the data and just hit export PDF and be able to send back to us without any personal identifying information. And this is just another slide about exporting the PDF. And so we do have in bold here, do not ever send the whole Excel tool back, because like I said, there are several tabs, and the second tab is where you collect the client information. And so that tool itself should never be emailed back. But what you will be doing is exporting the results into a PDF, and you're going to be able to save that report and then email that report, not the tool itself. And I want to run through that really quick with you. Let me pull up my tool. So this is what it will look like in Excel. So this is the first part here. And then the second page is where you would enter information. And as you can see, I've kind of created some individuals to put in here. One note I want to make is column J is the household ID. So this is just an ID that you all can use. As you can see here, I'm just doing 1, 2, 3. So you guys can just create different IDs or actually use the IDs that you have that you may use in your shelter. But in red here, it does say each member of a household has to have the same ID. So you can see here where I created Barbara and Kate, and I put them in a family. And so they have the same ID number. And they'll show that the first individual is the self, the head of household, and then the second individual is the child. So this is going to help the report know that this is a household and who the head of household is and who's the child. So just be sure that if you are serving a household, that you're putting the same ID, household ID for that household. And as you can see over here on the left, we have the client ID. And I'm actually going to change this. I want to make sure it doesn't interfere with when I try to export it out. I don't want it to match the actual client ID. So I'm going to change the household ID. And then if you scroll over, you can see the other information that we gather. Are they chronically homeless? Are they a veteran? Any substance abuse? Any mental illness? And any HIV or AIDS? And the last column is DV survivor. That automatically populates as yes, since you are a DV provider. So let's say we entered this information and we're ready to export it out. You can go back to the Report Admin tab and you just select Create PDF. And it's going to allow you to save it. So you can save it wherever you feel it's best to save it. So I'm just going to save it really quickly and I'll pull it up to show you what it would look like. So let me minimize this. And so this is what the PDF will look like that you will then email to us. And again, there's no personal identifying information. And it'll go through the breakdown. So this first one is adults with at least one adult and one child. And then it'll go to households with only children. And then households without children. And then veteran households. And then it has unaccompanied youth households as well. And parenting youth households. And so that's what it will look like. And we're going to send this out to you all with the, we're going to send the tool in an email as well as this presentation. And then it would be good probably to just run through it on your own, maybe just create some information, or you can actually use the individuals you're serving now just to see how it would work when you try to export the PDF so that you're comfortable with it. And also, this doesn't work on a Mac Apple computers, so you will need to use something else. And also, if I'm in the client information here, I can scroll over and hit View Report here over on the right-hand side. And that pulls up information right here in a spreadsheet. But in order to send it to us, you will need to go back to the main tab and hit Create PDF. And I'm going to really quickly, since I'm already in the tool, go ahead and show you. And also here on the front, this is where you can gather your housing inventory information. So right here it has households without children, households with children, and then the total. And so this is where you will indicate how many beds that you have year-round for these populations. And that way, and then what you'll do is you'll send this first screen here, as well as the PDF that was created. And so if you have any questions about that, please feel free to email us or call us. We definitely want to help walk you through this process. And we'll also be calling and reaching out to you prior to the point in time count. So let me jump back over to here. Okay, we just went through that, and there's our information. And if you're able to have audio and you want to ask a question, I'll stop recording and then we can talk through any questions you might have. But if not, I'll go ahead and end this, and then this will be sent out to you. And like I said, please feel free to contact us, and we will also be reaching out to you. Thanks.